Hey guys, it's Dr. Braddock and Dr. Clay with Legacy Gold, where our goal is to teach you how to communicate what it is that you do at the highest level possible to the people who need it most. On today's video, we have something pretty special. We were going to cover a question that we actually get a great deal in our offices, and talking to different coaching clients we have seems to be a pretty regular thing. I think it's a common question that can actually be an advantage. It can really help you when you know how to answer it. But when you don't know how to answer it, I think it can actually be a disadvantage and can kind of hurt your case. So, and that question is, after you're going over the x-rays, you've shown the person what their findings are, you get that question like, oh my God, I mean, how'd this happen? What happened? What caused this? And so I'm sure that's a question that you probably get. And if it is, we want to talk about different perspectives and variations of how to answer that.
Yeah, I know for me personally, it's one of the most common questions that I get. I think it's natural. I mean, you're seeing your x-rays for the first time, or maybe the first time in a few years, and you're shocked at what you see. You know, the image is something that you didn't expect, and a lot of times a patient will say just that: how in the world is it this bad? Or even the patient that comes in and let's say they have no neck pain whatsoever. I had one of these last week. That's what made me think about it, was that she had terrible reversal of curve, young lady, she's a dentist, well educated, and she was really shocked to see her neck x-ray just horrific. Neck is bent backwards, tons of degeneration, arthritis, and she just really wanted to know two questions. One, well, why is it that I don't have all these symptoms? And then number two, she just wanted to know, how did it get this bad? How did it get this way? And we field this question a lot, when, like Dr. Braddock said, when we're coaching some of our clients. And you may be shocked to be surprised that we don't have a cookie cutter
answer.
Cookie cutter answer. Supposed to be communication experts, and I can't even get that out. I handle that question in a certain way, and Dr. Braddock handles it in a different way. Both of them are very effective, and so that's one of the things our clients like about us the most, is that, you know, maybe you don't like the way that I handle a particular question and my communication style. Dr. Braddock, you know, obviously will come with a different one, and we're going to show that to you today on how we actually answer that question effectively, but we do it in two different formats.
Yeah, so I think that it's really cool. One, I'm sure if you guys have dentists in your office and you're looking at their curve, dentist, dental hygienist, they all have really terrible necks, unfortunately. All their fingers are going numb. So it's funny that you brought it up there. She was a dentist, because I use that dental analogy. We find ourselves using that all the time in chiropractic. So, if we were to get the question, well, why don't I actually feel that? And I say, imagine you went to the dentist today. Would it be possible for the dentist to find a cavity in your mouth? Possible. Would it be possible for the dentist to find a cavity in your mouth and you not have any tooth pain? Yeah, it would. So imagine this: you could have a cavity for a really long time before you wake up at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday morning with outrageous toothache. You don't immediately go, golly, what I eat last night? What meal caused this cavity? You know it's probably a series of things over a long period of time that has grown into a cavity that's now grown into a toothache. And so people understand that. That's really elementary to take them back there. They know how to operate with that tooth or dental analogy. So you have to use something they're familiar with and then link it to something that you're trying to teach them about. So when I look at an x-ray and they say, oh my gosh, how'd this happen? If it is a reversal, it's something real serious, I'll say, to have changes that severe in your spine most likely was a trauma. Now, before you say, I've never had a car accident, you know, most people, when they hear the word trauma, they think they had to have care flight, right? Mm-hmm. Unless they rode in an ambulance, it wasn't actually trauma. But if you played high school sports, if you learned to ride a bicycle when you were younger, if you slipped and fallen on the ice, slipped in the bathtub, those are all things that can be traumatic to your spine, can take a jolt. So it really isn't probably what one thing caused this, but a lot of things over a period of time that have got you in this situation. And so at that point in time, what we're looking for when you give this answer, to know kind of the litmus test, you're always getting feedback, nonverbal feedback from a patient. When you give them the answer of, like, you know, however you answer that question, if you see them like, okay, like kind of consternated, and then at that point, you know, you probably didn't hit. But if they're like, yeah, it makes total sense. You can just see that, kind of like, I should have known that. That means you hit that ball. You did pretty good.
Yeah, I like to take it a different way, and I've used that way before. I'm not saying it's a bad way, but I don't like to try to tell them why it is their spine is in such bad condition. Because, like, let's say, hey, it was a bicycle accident, and right away they're like, oh yeah, when I was 12 years old, they didn't even think I was going to live. I had a bicycle accident, face planted in a moving car. To me, that makes it almost seem like, well, you know what? Had I not had that bike accident, that I wouldn't have to be in your office. That it took some type of event to qualify them to be a chiropractic patient. I don't really like that. I like it to be more along the lines of, you know what? The reason why your spine is in this condition is because of what you didn't know how to do. Unfortunately, you never had someone teach you not only how to just get your spine checked, but number two, how to take care and manage the health of your spine. So I'll go back to the dental analogy and use it in a little bit of a different manner. Sorry. And so with the dental analogy for me is like, hey, listen, if you showed up at your dentist for the first time in 30 to 40 years, do you think we might find some problems? Yeah, we'd find some problems. And if no one ever gave you a toothbrush and showed you how to use it, no one ever gave you floss and showed you how to use it, how do you think the health of your teeth would wind up? Yeah, they're probably in a pretty bad situation. The reason why your spine's in a bad situation today is, unfortunately, you didn't know how to take care of your spine. We can't do anything about the neglect that your spine has received in the past, but what we can do is we can start today taking care of your spine. When's the best time to start? Obviously, the best time to start is today.
Yeah, so a Chinese proverb says the best time to plant an oak tree was 40 years ago. The second best time to plant an oak tree is now. And so just kind of letting people know, you didn't know that in the past. That's what we're here for. We're going to try to slow down any degeneration that's happening, stop that, and then start to rebuild and repair your spine in as healthy a manner as we possibly can.
And I think it's really good to know how to handle that question in both ways, the way that I presented it and the same way that Braddock presented it, because even when I say what I just said to patients, sometimes they'll still keep pushing, like, oh yeah, I totally get it. And I'm glad now that I'm going to start taking care of my spine, but I'm really curious, what do you think could have caused it? And so then you still, you can't just keep ignoring their question and taking them somewhere else if they push you really hard. So it's really good to be versed in both ways of handling that question.
Yeah, with all communication, it's good to have a bunch of arrows in your quiver, if you will, because you're never quite sure which one you're going to need. And then if you get to be an expert at reading those nonverbal cues at a patient, you'll start to realize, hey, I think this would work really well in this situation. Say it's a highly educated person, they're a dentist, they're female, versus if you had a truck driver in that's a little bit more rough, is a little bit more obviously masculine, and then how you would handle that situation with them. So you want to be good at all of it, not that you're going to use all of it all the time, but then you want to be good at recognizing the situation, the best way to communicate with that person in that moment to help them. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to manipulate anyone. The goal is to get them to understand where they're at, why they're there, and then how we're going to get back there. And the last thing I'll say in this, a lot of times I'll be like, Mary, here's the honest truth. I can't tell you how this happened. All I know is how we're going to fix it.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be my focus. I'm sure that's your focus as well. And then you'll get that. Yeah, I'm getting lost on the details that aren't important. Let's focus on what is important. Where do we go from here? We'll cover that in another video.
Yeah, so especially if you go over X-rays with a patient, be sure you master this one because you're going to get it all the time. I'm sure those of you who've been in practice for a while, you're already saying, yeah, I do. I get this one all the time. Be sure you master that one because patients really do want to know. And as always, thank you for watching these videos. We really appreciate all the likes and shares. Please continue to do so, and look forward to seeing you guys on another video. God bless.
See you guys.